Live from Augusta with a First Alert weather update.
Hey, good morning, folks. Thanks for joining us here on WRDW Plus for our 11 o'clock First Alert Weather Day update. I'm Nick Proto.
And I'm Ashley Jones. We're continuing on with our team coverage this morning, tracking the snow for you all throughout the CSRA. We're going to start things off with our Malik Bryant out in Wilkes County this morning. And Malik, you're already starting to see some flurries out there.
Yeah, we were starting to see some flurries out here just about 5 minutes ago. It was coming down a good bit here with those flurries, but as Nelson, it's quieted off a little bit. I'm going to step out of the way a little bit, see if we can have you zoom in so you can actually see them a little bit better and a more concentrated there. See if Mother Nature will give us a little bit more of a quick spat there, because yeah, there we go. Yes, snow in the CSRA here in Washington. It is starting to come. We've been waiting on it all morning here, and now it's finally arrived. It's on the way to the rest of everybody else, but it's here in Washington, and slowly we're going to see these flurries turn into snowflakes. Larger snowflakes are going to be on the way as we head throughout the afternoon, and then we're going to start see that accumulating, and then start seeing maybe anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow by the time everything's said and done. So we're all excited. We're happy that snow's finally gotten here. Hey, just had to take a nap earlier this morning. Maybe we got up too early, and then the snow finally came. But it's here in Washington.
All right, that is great to hear. Thanks for that live update there, Malik. We also got reports of some in Lincolnton a little bit earlier this morning, and now even a little bit out in Edgefield as well. So slowly but surely making its way down here through the CSRA. Let's go ahead and send things out to Edgefield County right now, where we've got your Ethan Hunter live along Edgefield Highway, I believe, this morning. So Ethan, if you've got us here, we can go ahead and... Oh, they don't have microphones. All right, never mind. Forget it. We'll get to them later. Edgefield County, you can just wait. So let's go ahead and send things actually over to our First Alert Weather Team, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale and Chris Still joining us in the Weather Center now. So, fellas, what are we looking at right now?
Yeah, it's been a long waiting game all morning long. Finally starting to get those snow reports come in. We just saw there in Wilkes County, Malik in downtown Washington, seeing some lighter flurries. That should continue to pick up across the area, but we've had reports in Edgefield, just off exit 5, even some light flurries there. Had a report in Appling. You had a couple of other reports, Chris?
Yeah, Angela Clark in Plum Branch, South Carolina, reporting snow covering the ground.
Okay, so we're actually starting to see accumulating snowfall right there in McCormick County. So that is looking to be the spot that's seen a little bit better snow rates. And that snow did start first in the northern CSRA, and now it's trying to make its way down further south. But you can see McCormick and Plum Branch right there. So radar not even necessarily showing a ton over the last hour of Plum Branch, but that's the thing. You can see just kind of quick bursts, enough to cover the ground pretty quickly since our temperatures are below freezing. So that's the thing. Once this snow does start, it's going to be easy for it to start accumulating on those surfaces across the area. Some other spots I would imagine we're starting to notice some pretty good snow is in the western CSRA over Lake Oconee and Lake Sinclair. So places like Devereaux, Sparta, even getting closer towards Sandersville.
That's got to be pretty heavy there.
That's pretty decent snow. That's one of those heavier snow bands we were looking at just on the west side of Athens, now kind of dropping further south through Eatonton and now reaching the western CSRA. So the dome is still in effect over Augusta, but we are going to see...
The dome is shrinking.
The dome is shrinking out there. So you can see better snow coverage now across the northern CSRA. Saluda County, you're probably seeing some snow pick up too. And even in downtown Edgefield, I would imagine you're starting to notice some accumulations, and you got a report from that just a little bit ago.
Yeah, Plum Branch and also Marty T. This was 17 minutes ago, but seeing some snow in Lincolnton in Lincoln County near Bussey Point.
Perfect. Okay, so right there on the lake. And Warren County, I would imagine in Warrenton, you're starting to notice some snow as well. So this is all part of this upper level low we've been tracking all morning. So it's now starting to swing further into the two-state, and this is going to provide better conditions for this snow coverage to start ramping up across the area. And you can see it's been pretty heavy snow across a lot of the Carolinas, just now reaching us here in the CSRA. But even Atlanta had some snow earlier this morning. They're still seeing some snow out there. all the way south and east towards Montgomery, Alabama. They saw the snow first before us here in Augusta, which is interesting.
Yeah, and to the doubters out there, we certainly get that when the time frame comes that we had said it would start and it hasn't started. I certainly get the doubters out there, especially after the difficult forecast we've had the past couple of weekends now. And I think we all agree, or at least Riley and I agree, that this is more a question of timing than it is what we're going to expect. Yeah, it's an hour or two later than we're thinking it would start, but the end result really, forecast-wise, hasn't changed a whole lot, has it?
No, I still think we're expecting accumulating snow throughout the rest of today once this does start for your particular area. Snow accumulations up to and over 2 inches. I think a good bet for at least, say, 70% of us across the area, and most likely seeing even some spots get over 4 inches. But the thing is, kind of keep in view that, I mean, think 5, 6, 7 days ago, we were letting people know that this was going to be possible on Saturday. I know a lot of people focus on the finer details. You think if it didn't show up exactly when we said, we got the whole thing wrong. But I mean, keep in mind that, I mean, this was well warned all week long that this was going to be happening on Saturday. Yes, it showed up a little bit later, but kind of gives some grace. I mean, it's pretty incredible that modern technology is able to forecast these events close to a week in advance. So don't get lost in the details that it may be a little bit later than you were expecting. This is still expected to occur as we head throughout the afternoon, and this has been well warned kind of all week long.
And the thing is, when this is a normal day-to-day weather kind of event such as rain, we don't really care much if it's 2 hours later raining than we thought, or if Edgefield gets 1/3 of an inch of rain and the airport got 2/100 of an inch, because you can't really tell. It was wet everywhere. But when it's snow and you have a small difference in liquid equivalent like that, that's the difference in 5 inches and 1 inch versus none. Or so the amounts are very tricky. They're very inconsistent on a map too. South of Augusta, you could have some pockets of heavier snow. North of Augusta, you could have pockets of lighter snow. But in general, north and east is the way to go as far as the heavier snow, with the heaviest snow across the eastern half of South Carolina, Columbia over closer to the coast. The lighter amounts in general farther west and decreasing as you go into Georgia. But there you see in Atlanta, they're getting their snow this morning. Meanwhile, we'll probably end up with more than they got, but it's later starting. And that's just how these storms operate. And with snow, when there is a difference, it's noticeable. So
it is more noticeable. Definitely a bigger event, more eyes on it. So closer attention to the details there. But all this is going to continue swinging down towards us here in the CSRA for the rest of today. So
I think Nick has.
Looking through here, we got Martinez, starting to see some, Evans, Grovetown, Clearwater. So people are starting to see it a little bit closer here to the metro. Not everywhere is seeing it right now, but nothing yet in Burke County, Thompson. Those are a couple areas people haven't seen it, but they're starting to see it a little bit north of I-20 as we get on in here to 11:10, 11:15 now. So,
and these flakes are initially falling into very, very, very dry air at the surface. So they're sublimating, or if it was water, evaporating. They're going away due to the dry conditions. But with these flakes falling into the very dry air, humidity levels come up, and the more and more of the flakes make it to the ground. So if you're getting flurries where you are, pretty soon it's going to be a lot heavier than what you're seeing.
We'll kind of zoom in our camera here, see if anything at the station, not just yet. I would expect we would be seeing anything just yet here near the state line, but if we're getting it already in Martinez, I mean, that is just down the road here from our station. So there's a look from Wheeler Road. That's kind of a zoomed in view of Wheeler Road. Maybe I just saw one
It's getting very foggy looking. There's some moisture in the air somewhere.
There is, and that's the thing, as you were kind of mentioning, as this initial wave of snow starts over your location, it's going to help saturate that lower atmosphere and make it easier for that heavier snow to start reaching the ground once we get a little bit later into this event. But starting to get better reports now moving in across the CSRA of this snow ramping up across the area, and just going through our in-house model here. Remember, if you've been watching our updates so far this morning, we had to adjust this a little bit about 30 miles towards the north, so to kind of adjust for that timing. But now I think it is kind of grasping that the snow will continue pushing towards I-20 and starting to see some better accumulating snow once we get after midday here around most of the I-20 corridor. And then it should just kind of continue most of the afternoon and even into this evening. I think we got a good chance for snow lingering possibly as late as around midnight in some locations, maybe even later, especially on the Carolina side of the river. And if with the snow we're expecting, we've been talking about most likely over 2 inches in most locations. This is the latest kind of run of our graph model we were just looking at there for its potential for those snow totals. And I think it's still kind of running 2 to 4 inches for most spots. Maybe some get a little bit less, but then some spots could see a little bit more out there. So still kind of expecting the same impacts we've been talking about. Timing has just kind of been pushed forward a little bit.
And as you look at this map here, you know, part of me, every time we show this, I cringe a little bit because this is a model output. It's not necessarily our forecast saying we think you'll get exactly 1 inch or 2 inches in Waynesboro. It's more to give us a picture of the overall broad stroke here. And you notice east and north, you have more of those 3s, 4s, and 5s. Farther south, you have more 1s and 2s. That doesn't mean if you're in the 1 to 2 inch zone there in Waynesboro back toward Louisville, it doesn't mean a heavy pocket won't develop that could give you 3 or 4. And if you live near Edgefield, there could be a dry slot somewhere and you may not quite get that 4 inches. It's meant to give you a guideline as you plan your day. It's not a crystal ball. We're not psychic. We just look at the science and give you an idea of what the probability is of the impacts of the weather in your area. So as you look at those maps, if you're disappointed by 1 inch there in Louisville, hang in there. You could get 2 or 3 inches if you do get a quick burst later on today.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that on radar too, how some spots are seeing some heavier snow while others are seeing some lighter. So this gradient of kind of white to darker blue is showing where the lighter snow rates are and the darker is. So, hey, we're going to go back to our first alert meteorologist, Malik Bryant. He's live in downtown Washington up in Wilkes County. Malik, what you got for us?
For you. Remember we had the flurries earlier, all of a sudden, wha-bam, we're bringing out real snowflakes, been able to catch them. They actually look amazing, these snowflakes here. We got a couple pictures of them. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on, let me grab another one. I don't know if you can see that, but the designs on these snowflakes have been looking pretty good as they fall. Actually starting to see it pile up just a little bit. The first inklings of accumulation here on the tops of vehicles. So for the first time, we're actually maybe seeing those elevated surfaces get first. I'm seeing the flakes stay together on the ground, not yet seeing any accumulation there, but that's the first sign you start to see before seeing that accumulation here in Washington. So not long now. We've waited a while. You probably woke up this morning. You had the jitters. You woke up at 5 a.m. because you had the jitters because it was a snow day. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't wake up with the jitters at 5 a.m. for a snow day? And you're like, where's my snow? And then I told you to take a nap. You took a nap. Maybe you woke up for lunch and now it's snowing. Now it's happening. Now the snow is here. And it's a good reward for the town of Washington here as they had throughout the day. We could see anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of this. So it's going to keep coming, and it's coming. It's I don't have words. It's snow. It's the good stuff.
All right, Malik looks like a little kid on Christmas out there. Just absolutely loving this snowfall. And Malik, we did have a couple people guess the layers in your last live hit because you were tossing that out there. You want to give the answer here to how many layers you've got on right now?
The answers to how many layers I got on right now. All right. So the top layer got a waterproof jacket on, of course, because it's snowing out here. So when I move into a warmer environment, I don't want to get soaked, right? And then I got the next layer is an Ariat jacket, so that's 2. Then I have a hoodie on up underneath that Ariat jacket. And then I have a t-shirt, short sleeve t-shirt there. That makes 4, I think, right? And then I have another long sleeve shirt up underneath that. So 5. I may be adding another one here soon. We'll see. But I may just take it like a man, or maybe I'll just go shirtless and face the cold as God intended, like a real man out here, and just play around in the snow. But we'll see. So 5 layers for now.
Oh,
Listen,
Malik, you better not do that.
Yeah,
The mom
Malik-
in me is going to be like, oh, do not.
Nobody's challenging your masculinity. Don't worry. You don't have to be a real man for us. You can bundle up. Pretty soon you'll be looking like Kenny from South Park. Won't even be able to hear you anymore. It'll be that's what it's going to be like with all that snow out there. All right, Malik, we will check back in with you a little bit later. Thanks for that update, and keep the updates coming here, folks. I'm looking through. It is funny to see, I guess, on different parts of different towns. Some
Right.
people have snow and some people don't. Like we just got one that said no snow in Thompson. Then another one says we got snow in Thompson. Same with like North Augusta and Grovetown too. So there are reports of snow coming in pretty much all across the CSRA. If we want to send it back to you guys at the Weather Center.
Oh, we got some breaking news.
From our Wheeler Road Cam, I could see some flurries.
Yes.
So
right,
even though it's not really popping up on radar, this flurry activity is so light that it may be tough for kind of the radar to pick it up initially. But that's what radar looks like right now. But take a look at our Wheeler Road Cam right now. So if you squint and look really hard, you can see
Pine
just
trees down below in the foreground.
Yep, you can see just a few little flakes starting to fly. And of course, when I pull this up, it kind of went
I
away.
saw it.
Yeah, we did
I have
see
a good
some.
imagination.
All right, I just saw one right there, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit better there. So, hey.
That is how we expect this to work. It'll start
Yes.
with like, oh, was that a flake? And then you're like, oh, that was a flake. And then pretty much an hour later, you might have snow on the ground.
And you'll kind of see what Malik is seeing up there in
Exactly, yeah.
Washington County, to where it's definitely more visible and going to be better to accumulate on those surfaces. Kind of a zoomed in view at our flags outside of our studios. Don't see quite as much activity, but that just kind of goes to show, I mean, a mile trip down I-20, you got some flurries here at the state line, not much showing up just yet. So those kind of fine scale features.
Now, those flags standing out reminds me of something else about how cold it's going to be and
Yes.
how the wind could play with the snow a little bit today, too.
Definitely so. This is going to be a dry, powdery snow. We got dew points down into the teens. Temps right now at Bushfield 34, but we're at freezing at Daniel Field. Temps will continue to, so basically as this snow starts to occur across the area, we'll see our temperature and our dew point try to close in on each other. So we call that process evaporative cooling, and that will continue to cool off our lower atmosphere. So temps will continue to drop through the rest of the day as our temperature, or as the snow does kind of ramp up across the area. But you can already see the wind chill right now with just a north wind at 8 miles an hour. It currently feels like 27, and that wind chill is going to be kind of the big factor pushing forward for the rest of this afternoon. We'll continue to see the wind pick up as this snow is starting to ramp up across the area, and that's going to lead to these feel-like temperatures, likely low mid-20s, and then possibly already feeling like the teens
15 by 5 p.m.
by the time we get to sunset tonight. So that's factoring in temperatures cooling off at least mid-low 20s, sustained wind 10 to 15, gusts 20, 25, possibly some stronger wind in some of our western counties. And we were looking at the map earlier. I mean, Macon and Atlanta could see some gusts close to 40 miles an hour. So luckily we're not seeing wind that strong with this event.
Yeah, in the words of Forrest Gump, it's going to be some of that sideways snow.
Sideways snow coming up in your face, sideways. We got reports of snow in Edgefield now. And actually, do we have the live camera of Gary and Ethan at least just kind of riding in the car? Let's kind of take that view, kind of see what they're saying. I believe they were driving up Highway 25. And then, so are they in downtown Edgefield right now? Okay, so you can already see it on the windshield right there, and seeing some flakes fly. So live view there from
Yeah, Riley, can you hear us?
Hey, Ethan, we got you. There we go. What are y'all seeing up there?
Yeah, it's really coming down here in Edgefield. We're driving up towards downtown right now, but the flurries were a little intermittent. We saw a few coming out of exit 5 off I-20, and then as we came into downtown, it really started coming, and now it is really coming down here as well. Kind of what Malik's seeing up in Washington is coming down here to downtown Edgefield as well. So you can see it's kind of sticking on the windshield a little bit, but it's you can kind of see what we've got. It's snow is hard to capture on camera, especially when the sky looks like what it does, but it is really coming down here. We're seeing the kind of hard pellet snow. You can see that it is not melting instantly. It is kind of sticking, not really sticking, but you know, it's not melting the second that it hits the ground. It's staying there for just a second. We're not seeing a whole lot of people out downtown right now. Did see a good amount of people at the old Edgefield Butcher Shop, so I don't know if that's where the real snow day fun is happening. Cutting up some steaks and, you know, playing, maybe grilling outside, catching some snowflakes on your tongue while you're getting at it. But it's I would say that this is definitely a lot of snow for this area. Not kind of what you're talking about could be coming across all of the CSRA is happening right here in Edgefield right now. Really constant flurries, consistent, coming down pretty well. Let me see if I can catch some on my sweatshirt here, like Malik was showing you. We've got some. You can't see. That's fine. We'll be outside for you next time, but we've been driving around, and we will be continuing to drive around the area all day. So wanted to give you that nice driving shot through Edgefield. It is definitely coming down. We'll be outside for you next time, and maybe you'll be able to see a little bit better. But it is full coming down across this area. No matter where you look, you've got some full consistent snowfall with some pretty big flakes. Malik said he really loved the design on those snowflakes. I like that too. You know, sometimes you just got to stop and smell the roses and appreciate the finer things. So I would agree. There's some nice, pretty designs on these snowflakes, but we'll send it back to you guys for now, and we'll get outside here in just a little bit and maybe show you a little bit better what's going on. But we've got some real consistent snowfall coming here in Edgefield.
Good.
Outside the newsroom window.
Okay, so now starting to see some snow here even in our station. But thank you for that, Ethan. We can definitely see the snow kind of falling outside of the car right there. And looking at radar, it definitely is popping up on radar now over downtown Edgefield. So no surprise, you're starting to see it at a little bit better clip right now. But just kind of a regional view here, Chris. Snow starting to work its way further south and east into the CSRA.
Yeah, and I just want to say to folks who may not be from Georgia or South Carolina, maybe you're here working on base at Fort Gordon, and you're thinking, what is the big deal? It's just a couple of inches of snow. Now, to frame this into reference, it's been what, since 2014 that we had more than 2 inches of snow?
I think 2010.
2010, and that was 8 inches of snow.
Right.
In history, going back to 1883, we've only had a total of 72 inches of snow over 143 years. So,
right.
Yes, snow is rare, and even though to folks from farther north it may not be a big deal, it is a big deal for us. We get a little excited.
Definitely so. And the funny thing is that that view we were just taken with Ethan there in Edgefield County. So Ethan is from Ohio. He's seen a lot of snow in his day. And then the driver is our operations manager, Gary Pakula. And he's from the UP of Michigan. So he's used to a lot of snow too.
He's inwardly laughing at us. I know he
exactly is. Right. But they are snow veterans, so they know how to kind of navigate the roadways in this scenario. But a lot of us Southerners do not. So we are making sure everyone is trying to avoid that travel if they can. But that's the thing, as you were mentioning, this is definitely a rare event for our area. It's been since 2010.
16 years. That's
16 years.
A lot of people watching this may have been too young to remember or not born yet the last time we had a snow event like we still think could happen later today.
Right. And I mean, over the past, say, 10 years or so, we've had some events to where maybe we get an inch and a half officially reported in Augusta. But you got to go back to 2010 before we've seen anything over 2 inches as far as snow totals go in Augusta. I think that's kind of the crazy thing over the last few years is that since I've been here in Augusta since around 2017, my hometown of Savannah has seen more snow than us here in Augusta. So it's been kind of crazy how some of these snowstorms have passed through the region over the last few years to where it's kind of been south of I-20 has had more snow than here around the I-20 corridor.
Yeah, and I know I referenced 2014, and before I panic anyone, I'm not saying this is going to be like the ice storm of 2014. That was Valentine's Day weekend or the weekend near Valentine's Day. But 2 weeks before that, as you recall, it was almost, I think it was January 27th. We had a bit of a snowstorm where almost 2 inches of snow fell just before the ice storm a couple of weeks later. So again, we're not talking about ice at all today. This is not anything like the ice storm of 2014. I'm referencing the snow event just before the ice storm that same year.
Mm-hmm. And to think just last year we had a couple of snow events, but they were fairly minor. We recorded an inch one early in January last year, and then kind of at the end of January, we got like 1.5, 1.7 inches. So we've gotten close to that 2-inch mark over the last few years, but nothing technically over that. Another winter where we're tracking some winter events. And I mean, this is the third week in a row.
Three weekends in a row.
We've had winter alerts issued by the Weather Service for most of the area. But we are underneath a winter storm warning, so that means we are anticipating at least 2 inches of snow for any county that is underneath the warning, which includes all of the CSRA. And then we have the extreme cold warnings on top of that, too, that will be in effect through tomorrow morning. And that's another big aspect of this forecast is some really cold temperatures that are going to be moving in. We'll go back out to some of our tower cams. We did get a report from Nick. He was just going to step outside of our studios to see if he could see some flurries out there. And not really seeing much from our zoomed-in view there on out front of our station at the flags. But we'll go back to...
He said he's building
there's downtown
a snowman,
Augusta.
but...
There's downtown Augusta seeing some flurries there. That's right over St. Sebastian, I believe, Augusta Canal. Back full and seeing some snow out there. Going to our Wheeler Road camera, this is where we first kind of saw a few flakes fly. Seeing less of that right now, but I think we actually have Nick Proto out live. Is that correct, guys? All right, let's go see what Nick's seeing outside of our studio. And Ashley, you need a jacket.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, Ashley definitely needs a jacket. Yeah. So we'll work on that. But for right now, we just got too excited. Had to come out here and check out the snow. I don't know if you guys can see it. We just got the phone camera out here right now, but we definitely have some snow coming down. If we step over here, you can kind of see a little bit on some of like the tables and stuff. So if you like look down here, you see a couple flakes on the tables and a little bit maybe on the putting green too. So still pretty early in this whole thing, obviously, but it is starting to come down a good bit. Yeah, so we can see it coming down, not really sticking to too much right now. It seems to be hitting and melting for the most part, but just on some of those colder surfaces like the tables and then some of these cement or brick, it's starting to stay for, like Ethan talked about, just like a second or two before it melts away. But for the most part, it is kind of melting. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is the first we've seen of it here in our area, right outside our station, right off I-20 Riverwalk.
Exciting time. I keep hearing myself.
This is an exciting time. I keep hearing myself. Sorry, I keep stopping. I keep getting some feedback here. So this is the first snow we've seen right outside our station. So it's coming here, maybe a little bit later than we had anticipated. I wish you guys could see Sarah behind the camera right now. She's starting to collect snow. Yeah, so she's got some on her hair and on her shirt. Ashley, you got a little bit in your hair too. So starting to stick a little bit out here. This is exciting stuff.
Definitely so. Glad to finally see it showing up here around the Augusta area. And the thing is, we still can't really see it that well, even on our Harlem radar, just a little bit down the road. So this is a pretty shallow layer, and I think a lot of it's evaporating before it hits the ground right now. But the thing is, it is falling. And the thing is, since we're already seeing official snow reports come in here around Augusta, that intensity of snow should continue to pick up as we get later into the day.
It should, and as that evaporation, or in this case sublimation, happens, not only does it increase the chance of, it kind of paves the way for future flakes to go all the way to the ground without sublimating so much, it also cools the temperature, and we're going down from here. We'll be in the 20s this afternoon.
Yeah, I actually just checked our thermometer. So we have a weather station here at News 12, and we are now at 32. We were at like 32 and a half just about an hour ago, and even 33 earlier this morning. So now that this has started, we've already seen our temperatures drop a little bit more, and since we're right at freezing, we are going to start seeing it accumulate better on those surfaces. And as Nick was saying, some spots elevated, like those tables, furniture out there, that's where you're going to see it happen first, and then we'll eventually see it start to accumulate on those ground surfaces.
Absolutely. That snow dome is indeed shrinking. There's a large area. I had a comment on our Facebook page saying no snow in Thompson just yet, but that should be changing very shortly, because there's a pretty heavy band of snow to your west that is closing in fast.
Definitely so. I would say in downtown Warrenton, you got some pretty good snow falling right now over K-Mac, right there at the Warren and McDuffie County line. And then right there off exit 174, I would say that snow is approaching quickly.
We have a DOT cam in Warrenton, don't we?
Let's check actually, some DOT
Near
cameras
Warrenton.
across the area. Yeah. So we'll go back to kind of this view outside, and let's see here. So there's downtown Augusta. You can see some flakes flying right there near downtown, but we'll go back to our 511 map. And we do have a couple of cameras. So there's KMAC right there at the bottom of your screen, and then we'll pull this up. And of course, the stream is not available. But we do have a couple of cameras near Thompson. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see anything just yet in Thompson, but it looks like that snow is approaching pretty quick. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that Thompson cam. But in Crawfordville, we do have one, and that's kind of in far western reaches of the CSRA in Tolliver County. But this was a cam we were tracking a couple weeks ago, Sunday. Sunday from 2 weekends ago, we had that snow reaching Tolliver County first and kind of getting close towards the metro. So this one should be able to show maybe some flakes out there. Not seeing a ton at the moment. But once again, in places like Warren County, you're likely seeing some better snow. And then these cameras will start to be able to show more snow across the area within the next hour or so. There's a little bit more outside of our station too, just kind of confirming what Nick and Ashley were just showing us outside. So the snow has finally arrived, Chris. It was a long waiting game this morning. I know a lot of people were getting impatient, but it finally is starting to reach us.
It is, and the end time for the snow really hasn't changed a whole lot from what we originally thought. We still think it'll end late this evening, maybe early overnight hours at the latest. But really, other than starting really a couple of hours later than originally forecast a day or two ago, it still looks on track to end around the same time. And then we're going to shift into that extreme cold weather warning for tomorrow with those 0 to 5 degree wind chills. I know, and that's going to be a big thing that you need to make sure you're protecting yourself from especially the little kids that are going to be out playing in the snow today. Just make sure they're dressed properly. Bring them inside every so often to continue warming up. But here's kind of a look at what we're expecting as we get later into the day. So pretty widespread snow across the region by later this afternoon. This will continue to most likely fall across the region through at least a few hours after sunset, and then we'll gradually see that snow taper off as we get later into tonight. By around midnight, I would say most of this event is over for a lot of the area, but as you just mentioned, Chris, that's when the really cold air is going to start showing up, and I don't even think we got to wait that long for the really cold air to show up. By this afternoon and even by 7 o'clock later this evening. I think that's when the cold weather, the extreme cold weather warning goes into effect, I think is 7, and they issue that when the wind chill falls below, 15 degrees, right? 15, yep. Yeah. And we are expecting most spots to be below that threshold by the time we get to around 7 p.m. And then it'll continue to stay single digits most of the overnight. And then by tomorrow morning, they should really bottom out anywhere from, say, 0 to 5. So even colder than that really frigid start we had earlier this week, Tuesday morning. So I would say this is fairly rare for us to have these this number of really Arctic cold outbreaks across the area, just kind of in succession with one another in this short amount of time. I was looking back at earlier in the month, which was very, very warm the first week or so. And if you average it all out, we're probably going to end up about a degree cooler than average for the entire month. But the past week or two, good grief, it has been cold for a long time. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back out to Edgefield. We got Ethan and Gary out there. What's the latest, Ethan?
Yeah, we are still in Edgefield County, heading up to Johnston now, a little bit north, and it is really coming down now. We're seeing some stickage, in fact. Snow is starting to stick to the sides of the road in the grass a little bit, and it's starting to move its way out. We're actually coming up, I was just about to say, on a Peachtree field right here. And that's really where we were seeing a lot of it out in the kind of dirt area. Riley, Chris, you guys are going to have to explain the science on where snow sticks first. I assume that it's just where it's coldest, where the ground temperatures are coldest, but that's your job. My job's to tell you what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing some snow sticking to this area, especially in the dirt and especially along the sides of the road. We're starting to see it kind of accumulating, especially on the dirt roads, actually. It is really starting to layer a good heavy sheet. Not heavy, but a good full sheet, we'll say. And it is really starting to come down heavier here. You can see it on the camera. Once again, doesn't quite do it justice. So if you're out anywhere, north where you're starting to see some flurries, go outside and look outside. That's going to be your best bet of seeing what this looks like. But it is really coming down now in just some full sheets. When we were out in Edgefield, it started to lessen up just a little bit, but now it is definitely coming down harder than it was before. So we are just seeing, more and more snowfall. Like I said, we're up in Johnston now. We're going to be driving all around the area and getting out of the car eventually, but just wanted to show you kind of what it's looking like at different areas in our in the CSRA right now. Right here, right now, we're starting to see some snow sticking to some spots out especially in the grass and in the dirt, and nothing sticking to the road yet, but they're kind of making a tinging sound on the car, so you can tell that they're a little bit of the hard pelletier snow, and that is what's hitting us. They're starting to get a little bit bigger of flurries, and we'll continue to keep you updated. You can see Gary's nice bald head and glasses there in the rear view mirror. Like you guys said, we are from the north, so we'll be out there a little bit less layered than Malik is, and this is some peak Midwestern weather here for Gary and I. We'll be sure to get out and show you guys what's going on. We are now in downtown Johnston, so this is right downtown Johnston, seeing a few people walking around in some big heavy coats, and this is really coming down now, like we said, starting to stick along the grass and
got some stickage.
Got some stickage going on. And
I'm going to use that one.
And Ethan was mentioning that he's noticing kind of accumulate on those grassy surfaces first. So the reason for that is that we usually see the roads kind of ice over last, because the road temperatures are usually much warmer than surrounding dirt and grass layered surfaces, because people are driving on the roadway. That warms it up. It's also very dark color, so it absorbs heat easier as well. So the more people drive on roads, the warmer it'll keep them. So it's really going to be those roadways that don't get traveled on a lot. Those are where the snow impacts are going to be felt first. But already seeing it on those grassy surfaces, and that should continue across most of the area.
Yeah, as the intensity of the snow increases, you're literally just pouring it out on the ground faster than it can melt. And when you get snow on top of snow, it can't melt, and that's when it starts to pile up. As long as you have individual flakes falling onto a warmer than freezing surface, it's really hard for it to accumulate. But as the intensity increases over the next hour or so, I would say that's when you'll notice the ground turn white. And then once that happens, you've got momentum going, and every flake that falls just sticks onto the one before.
Definitely so. And they're up there in peach country, obviously, and the peach trees are loving this cold weather. They need
those chill hours.
They need the chill hours up there, so that hopefully we have a really good peach crop moving forward later into summertime and late spring. So thank you for that, Ethan and Gary. And now we're going to go back outside to Nick Proto. He's just outside of our building. And Nick, what you got out there?
It's pretty much the same as it was the last time we checked in a little bit ago, but I do want to show you, it's hard to show any accumulation right now, but we do have some on these cushions. So I don't know if you can see, if I try to like knock it off there, I don't know if you're able to see any of that because we just have the phone out here, but if you can, that just gives you an idea of sort of what we're looking at right now. So still, again, pretty early. We saw some of the northern counties getting that snow first, and now it's starting to make its way to the metro here outside our station. I wanted to mention the roads while we're out here taking a look at Riverwatch Parkway and I-20. So GDOT and SCDOT had mentioned that they are going to be treating the roads. SCDOT, I think, started at 7 o'clock yesterday morning, and then they treat it as the snow starts to accumulate on the roads. But one of the big things they were mentioning was they're going to be treating the on and off ramps and the right lanes first. So if you drive in the left lane on the interstate, just know those might not be treated. That might be a little bit slicker. So if you do have to travel on the interstate at all today, the right lane is probably going to be your best bet. And then, of course, slow down, keep plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you, because even though you may be able to drive in this type of weather, not everybody is. We don't get this kind of weather in the South very often. So just be aware, not everybody's as comfortable driving in these conditions. So even if you are, those road conditions may still be a little bit more dangerous. Just keep that in mind as you are heading out. But our biggest piece of advice that we've been saying all week, just stay home if you can. Try to stay off the roads. It hasn't been too congested here on I-20 so far today, but there are still some cars out here. But again, if you don't have to be out on the roads, it is best to just stay home, and that way emergency crews are able to get from point A to point B. GDOT and SCDOT crews are able to be out there on the roads, making sure they have everything treated and all good for people. And then you just want to make sure that you're not putting yourself or anybody else in any danger. So try to stay off the road today if you can. If you absolutely have to, try to use the right lanes on the interstates, drive slowly, and keep plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you guys.
All right, thank you for that, Nick. And yeah, I would imagine road conditions just continue to deteriorate as the snow does pick up throughout the day. Our temperatures will continue to fall too, so more likely we see more accumulation as we get later into the afternoon time. But looking at the radar's still not really showing a ton of snow here around Augusta, so it's interesting to see. We have some ground truth. There is some flurries out there. The radar beam still kind of overshooting a lot of that shallow flurry activity going at the moment. But you can see much better chance to see a little bit heavier snow up towards the lake. We were just looking at our lake cam just a second ago. We could see a few snowflakes out there, nothing that's excessively heavy out there. But that's the thing. All this snow is going to continue to drop south and east across the area. So this is connected with that upper level low we've been monitoring, Chris. And as this kind of swings further into the 2 state, this should provide more lift, better ingredients, better dynamics to see this snow continue across the area.
Yeah, and as we've been forecasting accumulation and such, we've been kind of decreasing it farther south, increasing it farther north. But as I look at the radar there, I see some heavier snow headed in a beeline, it looks like, toward Jefferson County. So Rennes, Louisville, you're probably about to get a nice little snow burst.
Definitely so. And if we have any viewers in Warren, Glasscock, or Jefferson, McDuffie County, I would love for you to have us or tell us exactly what you're seeing outside your window. But as we've kind of been mentioning with this system, luckily this is expected to be all snow. Yep. We're not expecting freezing rain, not expecting sleet, so that'll kind of limit any power outage impacts. But we'll create some slick spots on roadways, and that's going to be kind of the biggest concern with this event. But if we can keep everyone safe, try not to travel if you can, then hey, we got a pretty rare fun snow day unfolding across the area.
We do. The only bad thing about it is it's going to be a powdery snow, so good luck with the snowman, the snowball fights, because it is that kind of snow that's just going to kind of fall apart in your hand when you try to ball it up. But we make snow cream in my family.
Oh, yeah.
This should be some perfect snow cream.
Absolutely. So you got a good ratio for how you make your snow cream?
I let her make it.
Yeah, there you go. I think a little bit. If you
my recipe is bowl, spoon, mouth.
There you go.
That's that order.
That's a good order right there. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of cream. Stir it in.
Condensed milk, right?
Condensed milk. Yep. So good stuff out there. And just kind of going back to radar, we're starting to see some darker blues on the radar there in Edgefield County, McCormick County, Saluda County too, and then portions of Hancock, Washington, and Jefferson County. You may be next for some of that heavier snow to push in. So right now at the lake, I've kind of been keeping an eye right where our camera is, right there at the Thurman Dam. So it looks like right over places like Bussey Point, kind of southern Lincoln County, maybe around Wildwood Park, you're starting to notice some better flurries there. Pollard's Corner, you're likely starting to see some flurries there in northern Columbia County. I'm really surprised.
Just started in Grovetown 1 minute ago.
Just started in Grovetown.
Jenny Hodges, thank you for that report.
Yep, thank you all for your reports. It is definitely helpful to kind of confirm what we are seeing on the radar out there. But I'm really surprised, Chris, that we don't necessarily see more snow from our Thurman Lake cam. I'll kind of pull that up.
That was a cursor on the screen.
I think there are a couple flakes that we've been able to see at times, but I mean, it's definitely not coming down to a steady rate at the moment there at Thurman Dam. But southern Lincoln County, you're probably seeing a little bit more.
2 minutes ago, I got a report of flurries in Lincoln County. Nothing in Waynesboro yet from Janet Chance. Grovetown just started, so kind of spotty.
It's kind of spotty. I'll tilt our camera up, and I think kind of looking across the lake towards places like Bussey Point, you may be seeing a little bit better snow out there, but kind of looking up, looking at the sky, that looks like a snowy sky to me right now, and we are looking at temperatures below freezing in these spots of the CSRA, and every once in a while you kind of see a decent little flake drop out there.
Nice chop there to the water, too.
Yep, and that's another thing. The wind will be picking up later this afternoon, and we'll likely see some gusts 20 to 25 miles an hour, so you factor that in with the dry, powdery snow. It will be enough to kind of blow it around, reduce visibility possibly, and that's going to be a concern, too, if you are out on the roadways traveling.
Indeed.
Here's just kind of an hour-by-hour look of our wind chill and kind of our snow chances moving forward for the rest of today. So now that these flurries have already started here in Augusta, we'll just continue to see better snow pushing forward into the afternoon. Our feel-like temperatures are going to continue dropping. So by the time we get to around sunset, we're already feeling like the mid-teens, single digits most likely as we get towards later this evening, and then we'll stay feeling like the single digits most of the overnight. So that is why we do have that extreme cold warning.
Yeah, and this is not the cold that's just uncomfortable. This is the kind of cold that is indeed dangerous. It can cause frostbite in a matter of a few minutes, and if you do or were to get stranded in your vehicle and you don't have proper attire to stay warm in a cold car, then you can be truly in danger. So if you have to be out on the roads tonight when those wind chills do dip down as low as they're going to be, just make sure to be safe. Pack some blankets in the car, maybe an extra jacket, whatever it is you like to stay warm with, just in case something goes wrong out there on the roads and you were to end up stranded.
Definitely so. And we were talking about how if you, worst case scenario, say you do get into an accident and get off the road, it will likely take emergency crews a little bit longer to reach you and respond to those type calls, especially if we start to see a huge influx of calls of seeing more accidents and things like that. But,
and the other thing, when you're out on the road unnecessarily, you potentially, if you do end up in a situation like that and you did not need to be out on the road, now you've put them in danger. Now you've put them having to go out in the cold.
Right.
Maybe they could be helping someone else who actually needed to be on the road and they start to get overwhelmed. So it's just better. If you don't need to drive, just don't.
Exactly right. Just kind of taking a wide look at the region, kind of what's happening on the radar network. So at the surface, we had a front pass through late last night, and now that it's kind of pushed off the southeastern coastline, we're seeing this low pressure start to rapidly develop. So if you've been watching the Weather Channel or anything like that, they've been talking about bomb cyclogenesis. And so that we are expecting this to rapidly decrease its pressure in order to bomb out, is kind of the term you may hear. You have to drop those that pressure by 24 millibars within a 24-hour time frame, and that's what's expected with this. So places like the North Carolina coast, they're expecting not only really heavy snow, but also some really strong wind with it too, as that low pressure kind of just continues to develop off their coastline. But what this is helping for us is that helping just kind of sling in some moisture here across the southeast. So counterclockwise spin around this low pressure. So it's adding in some moisture that's interacting with this upper level trough that is starting to dig further south too. Now this trough, as it moves in, this is helping provide that lift, so kind of transporting that moisture into the upper atmosphere to lead to that good snow growth layer across our lower half of the atmosphere. And this, the combination of these two, a good setup to see a rare snow event for us here across the southeast.
Yeah, and all that said, we are, as it seems like we always are, we are on the western fringe of it, so that's something to watch in terms of underperforming in the accumulation today. Very, very heavy accumulation from Columbia up to the north, over to the east toward Florence, Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, the Charlotte area, all those areas, 6 to 12 inches of snow today. We're not going to have that much, but later on today when all that snow reaches over to the coast.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that snow there in the Outer Banks. I mean, coastal North Carolina, it is north of us, but it is rare for them to see a snow event like that. So they are bracing for a very impactful winter storm in that region. And I think we were looking at this yesterday. The entire state of South Carolina is underneath a winter storm warning from this. So it goes all the way from the upstate to the coastline. Places like Charleston could actually see maybe more snow than a lot of places here in the CSRA.
And for us, if the forecast does hold true, you know, we said a couple of times already, but if we get more than 2 inches of snow, that'd be the first time in 16 years that's happened.
I know, it's incredible to think. We've had some events to where we've gotten maybe an inch, a little bit more than an inch, but yeah, as you just said, haven't seen anything over 2 inches from one event here in the at least Augusta area since that 2010 time frame. So it's been a long time. Now, in 2010, we received 8 inches. We're not expecting that necessarily, at least not here in Augusta. But places like the Midlands, hey, they definitely could. I mean, we saw snow up in Greenville start early this morning, and it's continued to be pretty heavy up there all morning long.
Yep.
But just kind of a closer look at our radar. This is an hour loop of it, so you can just see snow continuing to just kind of build in across most of the northern and western CSRA. And we actually have a pretty good snow band right now over Lake Oconee and Lake Sinclair, so kind of the western fringes of our viewing area across places like Hancock and Washington County. Also Warren, Glasscock County, you're likely starting to notice some better snow out there. And I'm going to go back to our lake cam to see if any change there. Not a huge change. We'll check on our Tolliver cam, and actually right now in Thompson starting to see some better snowflakes. So let's go back to our cam there. So this is courtesy of Georgia DOT. They have a number of traffic cameras all through the state. This is a look in Thompson at the moment, and I hope it doesn't go away, but there you go. You got a few flakes kind of flying there around downtown Thompson, and that lines up with what we're seeing on radar.
It does. Let's see. Yeah, reports continuing to come in. Dry flurries in Aiken, north around I-20. Got a lot of comments coming in. I can't keep up with them. Well, the feed is scrolling by with people commenting. And I did see light snow in Crawfordville.
Okay, there we
to
go.
the west there. So
here, we'll check in on that camera real quick, see if that looks any different. Sometimes takes these cameras a second to catch up, but usually this Crawfordville camera does work. Let's see if we can. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. But that kind of lines up with that better snow band we've been looking at in the western CSRA. And still from that view.
Snow at North Augusta exit 1 from Danielle Marie.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Danielle.
Snowing near Lady A from Deborah Tabor.
So Evans starting to get some snow, and actually you can see a little bit better snow there in Tolliver County right near Crawfordville. So that's a mile marker 148 there on I-20, and starting to see a little bit better snow come down. But I think we just got word that we got some viewer video sent in. If we want to take a look at that.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
And where is this viewer video sent in from, guys? Oh, so this is off Walton Way.
I know where that is. The little Peanuts laundromat near Sprouts.
That is off Sprouts, so off Walton Way Extension right there. It's good stuff. All right, so starting to see a little bit better snow here around the Augusta area. And yeah, so.
Do a little laundry while you watch it snow. That's not bad.
Hey, a rare view, a rare sight for us here around the CSRA. So we'll take what we can get. But this is really just starting for us, folks. I know the timeline kind of did push much later into the day than what was initially thought, but that doesn't mean we're not expecting anything. We're still expecting some pretty decent accumulation, at least 2 inches, most likely more in some spots, and maybe the southern CSRA doesn't quite see the totals that other spots do.
That's right, and it's not looking like it's going to affect really when the snow ends a whole lot either. Just because it started late doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end a whole lot later than we've been kind of advertising throughout the past couple of days.
Right. I think by around midnight tonight, this event should be pretty much over for a lot of the region. But I think we're going to toss it back over to Nick and Ashley at the desk, and I think we got some more viewer videos and pictures sent in.
Yeah, there are a couple of them right now, but we do need more, of course, as the day goes on here. So if you want to send in some pictures and videos, right here, this is how you can do it. Scan that code on your screen. If you're watching us on your phone right now and you can't scan this, just go to WRDW.com, and in the top left, there's a Submit Pictures and Videos link right there. So you can just click on that, and that is the way to send in any pictures and videos that you want to send us. And we love showing them off.
Yeah, and we love to look at them. I mean, from the ice storm that we had last weekend, we got some great pictures, some videos sent in, people playing with their dogs, kids enjoying the snow that they did get last weekend. So whatever you see out there, feel free to record it safely if you can. Take some pictures. And again, just feel free to send it to us on our website, or you can just scan that code there on your screen.
Yeah, if anybody's building any snowmen, I know it's a little bit tough with this type of snow. Here you go. This is Wilkes County. This is what we were showing you where Malik. Oh, all right. There you go. All right, Malik's getting some reps in, it looks like. Just trying to stay warm out there. We decided, I think he had 5 layers on, potentially adding a 6th, too. So it just sounds like across the area, just looking at the comments, that people are just starting to get some flurries. So I guess it's a little bit later than we had anticipated originally, but it is coming and it is here right now. We're starting to see that snow coming down all across the area. Remember, we had sort of that band all around the CSRA a little while ago. It looked like we were just...
It's going away.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of coming down and just split apart and completely missed us. But now it's starting to come down through our area, mostly in our northern counties, but even some of our southern counties starting to see a little bit here in the metro too.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there and get in there myself.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna.
Put a coat on.
We were out there a little bit. Yeah, we were out there briefly, and just a few flakes coming down outside the station. Not really sticking to anything yet, but you can kind of tell across the street there's a little bit of grass, and you can see it look just a little bit lighter, a little bit more white than it normally does. Just some snow trying to stick on the ground, guys.
Yeah, it's trying its best, and once we start to see it start to pick up better, I think we will see some accumulation here over the next couple of hours. So that's going to be the thing. Not seeing a ton from our tower cams as far as accumulating on any grass surfaces here around Augusta just yet, but I want to give you a view here from our SRP Park camera. Actually looks to be coming down pretty decently there in North Augusta, right on the Greenway Trail. So seeing more flakes fly, and these flurries are going to continue to just get turned into better snow showers rather than flurries as we get later into today.
Do we have any cameras over in the Columbia County? We have Columbia, South Carolina area. That snow over there has been going on a while.
That has been. I believe here. I will. Here, we'll go back to radar. Let's talk over radar for a second, and then I'll try to work on getting some SCDOT cameras up.
But yeah, it is definitely starting to increase there. There's your radar with looks like some moderate snow there in Warrenton. If you live in Warrenton, we'd love to have a photo to pass along so we can see what's going on, whether it's sticking to the roads and that kind of thing, because those are kind of the things that matter. But as you can see here, it's closing in on Augusta in a big way. So things are starting to pick up, and it's not even noon. I know it feels late and all that kind of stuff, but really some deep, heavy snow up there in the upstate of South Carolina. This is all the Charlotte area, Columbia, Florence, South Carolina. Those all are areas that are going to get 6, maybe even 9 to 12 inches of snow throughout the day today. We're on the western fringe of this system, so snowfall amounts could vary a lot from east to west especially, but there's some heavier snow there in Eatonton that is advancing off toward the southeast into Washington County. So Sandersville, I know your flakes are flying. If that heavier band coming out of Eatonton does make it into your area, and I don't see why it wouldn't, that might be what starts to turn the ground white in your area. Glasscock County about to get some heavier snow as well. So that heavier band of snow in the southern CSRA is going to be something to watch. And Riley, what have you found here?
So this is I-26 at mile marker 106. This is up in Columbia. So you can already see some accumulating snow there off of I-26, kind of on the west side of downtown Columbia. And so they saw the snow start earlier than we did here locally in the CSRA. So they're already starting to notice some accumulations. But I'm going to continue up into the upstate. We've been mentioning that Greenville has been seeing some pretty decent snow here over the last several hours. So I'm going to see if I can find a good Greenville camera. Here, we'll pick this one right here. Notice some traffic kind of backing
some
up.
red on
How about that view right there? So there is Greenville, South Carolina. Looks substantially different than what we're seeing right now here across the CSRA. But this is the same system that's going to be moving towards us later into today.
It is, and they're also forecast to get 6 to 7 inches of snow too. They're forecast to get a little more, so they are seeing a little more. They're also upstream from the system. So before you judge quite yet that we're just not going to get anything, give it some time. Eventually we may look more like what you're seeing here in just a few hours. But yes, some really, really heavy snow expected in the upstate and over into the Charlotte area, down into the PD and Midlands of South Carolina. But here in western South Carolina, eastern Georgia, we're starting to get our share.
Definitely so, and just kind of looking at some different camera views here around Greenville. So pretty much snow covered across the entire city of Greenville. And then I think we got a live view maybe in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're also seeing some pretty decent snow. Some people sledding. Is that a live view right now? Here we go.
Man.
So is this from our sister station? All right, so this is from WBTV up there in Charlotte, another great media station up there, and looks like their cameraman's getting ready to get some sledding in. How about that view? That is awesome. So I grew up in Charlotte. I lived there from about 2nd grade to 10th grade, and that's where I really fell in love with weather after a really big ice storm that hit us there in Charlotte when I was about 10 years old. So yeah, it's phenomenal. Love the snow days, and you can see a lot of kids out there having fun and playing in it.
I don't care where you're from. That's a lot of snow. You know, some people are like, oh, we're from the north. This isn't a lot of snow. I don't care where you're from. This is cold, and that's a lot of snow.
Yeah, I would say objectively, it is very cold, no matter where you're from. And the snow, it is going to continue picking up for us here locally. We've been looking across other regions that have seen the snow start a little bit sooner. But for us here locally, we're starting to notice some better snow coverage, or at
Got our
least
first snow report from South Augusta. We've got Hepzibah snowing off Hepzibah off Farmers Bridge Road.
Farmers Bridge Road. Okay.
Debbie Braswell, thank you for that. Snowing in Deering.
And so more reports starting to come in. I'm starting to see better snow now from our Thurman Dam cam too. Some thicker flakes and definitely coming at a better pace. But we're going to go back out to downtown Washington. First Alert meteorologist Malik Bryant's there. And Malik, what you seeing?
Hey, we're seeing more snow continuing to come down here in downtown Washington, and it's just waiting slowly. We still see the snowflakes on the grass here. Not yet seeing any accumulations here, still sticking around. It's blowing everywhere. That dry, kind of powdery snow, again, that we've been telling everybody that's going to fall down is here. And it's just blowing around. And, I mean, the roads are still fine behind me, but it's not going to stay that way, especially as we head into the afternoon, especially if we do get one of those heavier bands to come through Washington. It is going to be hard for you to travel. Now, if you are in downtown Washington right now, some business owners are the ones to let you know that they are open right now. They won't be open all day, but they are open right now for the time being. So we're actually going to grab lunch from one of the local businesses here in a few minutes. But the snow here in Washington is absolutely beautiful. You can actually see it pretty much everywhere behind me now, and it's still in the grass. We're waiting on to see if there's going to be any accumulations now, but we've been getting reports again from all over the CSRA, and so thankful for everyone in sending in those reports, especially our storm spotters that have sent in those reports. Saw that we had a trace. Somebody measured a trace already in McCormick, South Carolina, so that information is extremely useful to us. So continue to send in those reports to us so that we can use them, get in the National Weather Service, and so that we can continue to provide you with the best information possible.
Definitely so. Thank you for that, Malik. And a good thing to do if you do want to have some official reports to send into the National Weather Service, you can lay out what we call a snowboard, have a ruler kind of taped to that so you can actually officially kind of keep track of how much snow accumulates at your location. But I would imagine we do see more snow-covered ground here over the next couple of hours.
Absolutely. Yeah, widespread reports.
And I love this Thurman Dam cam view now, starting to see some thicker snowflakes and coming down at a little bit better pace. So the northern CSRA, you kind of saw this event start first for y'all. And so you've had more time to get that lower atmosphere more saturated. And it's going to be easier to see those heavier snow showers start to push in for you soonest. For us here around Augusta, we've been kind of bouncing around some of our tower cams here around Augusta, North Augusta. You can still see some flurries here around SRP Park, just off the Greenway Trail, just not quite as thick and as heavy as what we were just looking at there from Clarks Hill. But all around Augusta, we're getting more reports, even over in South Augusta. Starting to get some better reports of flurries happening. And even outside of our station, we had Nick Proto, Ashley Jones out there just a few minutes ago, and they were confirming that the flakes were flying out there.
Yeah, and Drew Morris asked on our Facebook page, what's Johnston, South Carolina going to look like? And you're going to look like the rest of us pretty much, except over there in South Carolina and up to the north of Augusta, Edgefield County. That's where you do have that potential, possibly for the heaviest snow of folks here. We're still kind of recapping here, 1 up to 3 inches of snow. Typical, commonplace, where those heavier snow bands set up, it could be more like 3 to 5, and there's kind of a better chance the farther east and deeper into South Carolina you go. So, Drew, if you're still watching from Johnston, South Carolina, if you're not seeing the snow just yet, just hang in there. We've got a long time to go this afternoon and your Saturday night, but look at that lake camera there.
Yeah, I just saw a good little burst drop down and seeing some better flakes flying, and you can see it's blowing around. We got some pretty breezy conditions now showing up with this snow too, so it's not kind of the heavy wet snow we're used to seeing here locally, to where it's just kind of you see those thick big snowflakes just kind of dropping out of the sky. This is blowing around a little bit more, and definitely a sign that this is kind of that dry, powdery snow, which, as we've been talking about, not the best for making snowballs, not the best for making snowmen, but can lead to maybe some higher accumulations relative to if this was just kind of a wetter, icier snow.
Yeah, it should be a pretty snow as well, because the wind will blow it up under the trees and stuff to where you don't have the bare spots under trees and stuff.
Yeah.
And dry snow doesn't accumulate as much in trees, so hopefully we don't have any power outage troubles, although the winds are going to be pretty gusty this afternoon. I guess that's something we always monitor in winter weather situations, but right now any power outage problems should be remotely isolated and no major problems out there. But staying warm tonight could be a big problem with those single-digit wind chills headed our way overnight.
And that would be concerning, say, if we do have a couple of isolated power outages and you don't have a way to properly heat your home. I mean, we are talking about some dangerous cold out there. Just kind of turning our tower cam to look down the Savannah River. You can see it's got a little bit better backdrop to see those snowflakes flying across the area. And we'll see if we got any brave people fishing down there at the pier. I don't see too many cars there in the parking lot, but had a couple reports earlier this week when we had the really intense cold Tuesday morning. Apparently, the hybrid and striper bite was actually on fire with those cold temps. So few people may be braving the snow across the area there on the river or the lake, but just make sure you're being extra safe, and hopefully you're dressing for those very cold
water
conditions.
Temperature at the lake 47 right now. So
yep.
A little chilly.
Absolutely. And just going back to our radar view, we'll kind of show you an hour loop of what's been unfolding. So right there at our Thurman Dam cam, you can see definitely better snow rates ongoing, so can verify that from our radar right there. And if you're in McCormick County, we actually had a report, I guess 30, 45 minutes ago, that they're already seeing some accumulating snow near Plum Branch, right?
That's right.
And so most of McCormick County may be already seeing some accumulations out there. I think Malik also just mentioned that we had a report of at least a trace of snowfall so far around McCormick. Where Malik is at in downtown Washington and Wilkes County, you can see as far as the color scale goes on our radar, a little bit on the lighter side where you're seeing the darker blue on the radar. That would be a sign that most likely the snow is a little bit heavier. And that could be found in places like Tignall, kind of northern Wilkes County. But all across Clarksville Lake, I would imagine most of those coves are seeing some snow falling across the area. And just going a little bit further south, looking at places like Washington and Hancock counties, Sandersville, Devereaux, Sparta, Mayfield, Gibson, Thompson. We just kind of confirmed from one of those traffic cameras there from Georgia DOT, you were starting to notice some flurries as well. And actually, oh man, that's starting to come down a little bit better there from the lake cam. But I'm going to go back to our view here from Thompson to see if that looks any different. Don't necessarily see a ton of change right there. I'll switch back to our camera view. We'll see what that looks like. Take a second for this camera to load up, but just about 15-20 minutes ago when we were checking this, we were already seeing some flurries, and you can kind of see that right there from that camera view. So that's right off State Road 17 at State Road 150 there in McDuffie County, right around downtown Thompson.
I do see just a little bit of accumulation up in the trees starting to take hold, so it's a matter of time. We're
Definitely
getting there.
So. Yeah, luckily road surfaces look okay right now there in McDuffie County. I would say most of the CSRA, we're not really seeing hazardous travel conditions just yet, but the concern is as the snow continues for the next several hours, that's when we will likely see those road conditions start to worsen and worsen across the area. But I'll go back to our lake camera. This was showing some really good snow out there, so how about that? So that's looking right at the top of the dam down towards the Savannah River. That's below Dam Park right there. Maybe familiar with the fishing pier. I was kind of do a 360 view, just kind of turn you around. And there's the visitor center looking towards McCormick County. And we'll zoom in a little bit, see if maybe we can see some accumulation on surfaces towards the visitor center right there. Not really seeing much. Looks like we got one brave person out there just kind of looking and checking on the snow. All right, and we're getting word that we do have Ethan Hunter. He is in downtown Edgefield right now. Let's take a look at kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, the snow is coming out, as you can see, a little bit better than before here. We've got some accumulation happening on the, especially in the mulch area. We've got a family over here from Florida that is little girl over there seeing snow for the first time. So we've got some people out enjoying the snow now. I know you guys said that you're down here just to see the snow. Is that right?
Yeah, we're from Central Florida. We were staying in Georgia, and it might snow there, but we decided to drive up and ensure that we got to see it. This is her first time, and her first time remembering it. She saw it when she was 2, but it's cool.
Yeah, tell me. So just coming out here just to see the snow, what has their reaction been?
Oh, it was incredible. When we were driving up and we just first started seeing the windshield, it was squills and oohs and ahs all the way up. So, yeah, it's a magical time.
I saw you throw a little snowball at her, kind of. She probably doesn't even know how to play in the snow, right?
No, the first snowball caught her off guard. She didn't like it so well, but now she's getting in the hang of things and she's enjoying it.
Yeah, don't quite have the accumulation for snow angels yet, but how long are you guys going to be out here kind of playing? Are you hoping to maybe get a snow angel in? Maybe, I don't know if a fort can happen in this kind of weather, but you know.
Yeah, snow angels are definitely on the agenda. That was spoke about for the last week when we were talking about coming up and trying to find some snow this weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we've got you guys are the only family out right now kind of enjoying it, at least out here in Edgefield. What made you come to this spot specifically? Is this just where you thought there might be the best chance to see it?
Honestly, my wife was navigating and we looked at the radar and we tried to go to the place where we saw it coming first and started just going back roads, and we end up here. We actually just came out in the corner of the square here, and just the map showing us where the snow was.
That's perfect. Yeah, so we've got, what's her name?
Callie.
Callie. So this is Callie's first time ever seeing snow. Callie, are you having fun? Yeah. She said yes. I don't know if you could hear that, but she's trying to throw some snowballs. I guess, you got to get that. I was telling somebody earlier, you got to use that pure hand heat in this kind of snow. I'm from Ohio, and he's from Michigan there, so we've got some experience. You got to use that hand heat to get that powdery snow to form into a snowball. Looks like Callie's a natural. She's already got it going. Trying to throw. That's a direct hit. So what does it mean to kind of be out here and seeing her play like this? I mean, this has to be really fun for you guys, right?
Yeah, it's great. Being from Florida, we don't get snow. We don't get to experience it, and it's kind of magical. We watch YouTube videos where people are playing in snow, and she's been wanting to see it ever since. So there's actually a YouTuber, he quit doing it, Outdoor Boys, was super popular. Mm-hmm. She calls it Boys Camp. I don't know if we'll be camping in the snow, but it's cool to come out and play in it.
Definitely. So we've got some fun happening here, some dreams being lived out here in downtown Edgefield. We'll come back to you guys in a little bit, but as you can see, definitely starting to accumulate, especially on the benches, starting to get going in the grass a little bit too. So I'd say we're about T-minus 30 minutes from a potential snow angel here in Edgefield.
That is the best. You can't beat that excitement of seeing that first snow. I mean, especially being from Central Florida, I mean, it's just something you're not used to seeing, and you finally get to see it, and you're like, oh man, this is actually a real thing people get to see. And so I'm happy that they were able to witness some snow. We did finally get some snow that is showing up across the area, and already seeing some light accumulations there in downtown Edgefield.
They certainly were, and with snow rates like you're looking at here up there at Thurman Dam, they'll be seeing the same thing soon across northern Columbia County, headed down into the Augusta area. In fact, I'm seeing those trees are starting to
I think
collect
so.
a little bit. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of widen it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
A little bit of accumulation there at the top of the dam where our camera is located. But another interesting thing we've been getting some viewer pictures of is the type of snowflakes that people are seeing. They're really pretty. They actually have some pretty impressive geometric structure to them, and these are most likely what we call dendrites. So pretty impressive snowflakes. Thank you all for sending in your pictures, your videos. We really appreciate it. And if you can, try to catch a snowflake on your hand and you can see what we're talking about. Kind of the thing you always hear, each snowflake is unique and different in its own way. So pretty cool. I'd love to see some more pictures of the type of dendrites we are seeing with this snow out there. How about this viewer video? Right there, and some pictures, and we are seeing some accumulation in many spots, especially in the northern CSRA, so this will just kind of continue to ramp up. Do we know exactly where this video is from? Okay, so we don't know exactly where that's from, but you can see a little,
it is local though, right?
It is local, I think.
All right. Local or not, it's pretty.
It is very pretty out there. But I just kind of finally grabbed my cell phone, and a lot of texts from people just kind of saying what they're seeing. So more reports coming in from around Augusta, Appling. Buddy Sean up there in Appling, he was actually the one that sent me a picture of one of the snowflakes, and just so cool to see the structure of these. So luckily these aren't kind of the needles or the plates, but these are the fancy looking dendrites, so some pretty cool geometric features inside of them. And
that video we were looking at was from Greensboro, Georgia.
Greensboro, okay, so I think that's just west of our area. Kind of near Lake Oconee, Lake Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So awesome. Love seeing the video from around the area. And remember, very easy to submit your pictures and videos. You can do that through our weather app. There is a spot on our weather app where you can just kind of hit submit pictures, videos, very easy to upload from your phone. So we'd love to get some more pictures and videos of that. And we just kind of been looking around, bouncing around cameras, and the snow just continues to look more and more impressive on many camera views we do have across the region. We'll go back out to radar right now, and you can see it's just kind of starting to work its way further down into the I-20 corridor. I would imagine our snow rates here around Augusta does start to pick up here any minute now.
Now, what do we have upstream from what we're seeing right now?
Yeah, so we'll kind of zoom this out a little bit. So this is pulling in radar data from Greenville, Atlanta, Columbia, Charleston, and Macon. And you can see over Greenville, they still have some pretty decent snow. Now, that Greenville radar can't necessarily see past the Appalachian Mountains right there, so it kind of cuts off once we get to that mountain range. But around Greenville, still some really heavy snow at the moment. And you could even kind of make out that upper level low. You kind of see that counterclockwise spin going on right there. So that's what's going to eventually just kind of wrapping its way further south and down through the area. So this is where our afternoon and evening snow chances does start to come into play. This will just kind of continue filtering towards the coastline. But noticing some heavier snow bands, especially here. I'll kind of clear out these. We'll kind of point them out on the map. But see this one kind of working its way through the PD into just north of the Charlotte area. Obviously, some really good lift happening right here around the upstate from basically the northern CSRA towards Greenville. And then we also have this snow band that's kind of working its way through the western and southern CSRA, so places like Washington, Hancock County. And that kind of roughly estimates where that upper level low is creating that best lift in our atmosphere.
Now, how are our temperatures doing at this time? We haven't talked about temperatures.
I just checked our thermometer at our weather station. We're down to 30, so we've already dropped a couple more degrees. At Bushfield, they're at 33. Evans, you're at 30. Washington, 29. 29 right now in Aiken. Other spots like Sparta, Gibson, low 30s out there. The thing is, Chris, some of these, since we don't necessarily have official observation sites for every single county, some of these are pulling in model data, which may not necessarily be completely accurate. But
and essentially the way that works is it will use two actual observations and do what we call interpolate between the two. And it should be very accurate within a degree or two for sure. So if it's 29 degrees according to the model, you're below freezing. So, but yeah, we do have that ability.
I'm going to pull up this map we sometimes use from the Weather Service. This will give us a better idea of some kind of ground observations across the area. And this will give us a better idea of kind of what those temperatures look like across the area. So we'll go back to this, and let's see if we can kind of bounce around some of these sites. Let me turn these surface observations on. So it doesn't look like the model data is actually doing necessarily a bad job right now. Up at the lake, right between Lincolnton and McCormick, they're at 30. Looks like right on the McCormick-Edgefield County line, 28. Right there in the Sumter National Forest, about 30. For us here around Augusta, anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees. Thompson, you're roughly at 30. Up near Washington, they're currently at 30 degrees. And then further south, we'll kind of see some temperatures now starting to get just a little bit above freezing. Places like Midville at 34, Louisville 34. But just south of Sandersville, you're at 31 degrees. Sparta, 28 degrees. So for most spots where snow is falling, your temperatures are freezing or less, and that will allow for this snow to most likely accumulate a little bit better. But if you are above freezing right now, say you're in the southern CSRA still waiting on this snow to show up, your temperatures will drop as this snow does begin for your area. It may initially be above freezing, but you will drop below freezing once that snow does start to ramp up. But yeah, I would say most spots where we're seeing kind of reports from snow coming in, you're freezing or less, anywhere from around 29 to 32 degrees. We'll go back out to some of our Georgia DOT cameras. There's a look from Thompson. That's right off State Road 17 and 150. Still seeing some decent snow right there. And then we'll kind of go back closer towards us here in the Augusta area. And actually, we'll look at our Wheeler Road camera right now. There's downtown Augusta, and then Wheeler Road, starting to see some better snow happening across the west side of town. And I would imagine this just kind of continues for several hours here.
Absolutely, and it still should. It should increase in intensity as the atmosphere moistens up and we don't have that sublimation we're talking about. And sublimation is like evaporation, except it's when ice goes straight from ice, bypasses liquid and just becomes vapor. And that's what happens when snow falls into dry air. It doesn't necessarily melt and then evaporate. It just evaporates, or sublimates would be the case here. So a little science lesson for any youngsters out there watching who may be doing their science lesson and have wondered what sublimation is. Well, we do have it going on out there this morning, but as the temperature and the dew point get closer together, the relative humidity gets higher and you saturate the air and sublimation ends and you start looking at more and more of what you see on your screen there.
And some decent snowflakes out there, and as we were kind of mentioning, these are pretty unique. Obviously, every snowflake is unique, but these are some really cool looking snowflakes. So try to catch one on your glove or on your jacket. Try to look at it, take a picture of it, and you can really see the structure of these snowflakes, and it's just so interesting how these form and how they branch out and the structure of them, how they develop as they just kind of gradually fall through our atmosphere and through that snow growth zone. So really cool stuff that we're seeing. But right now, here in Augusta, at our temperature station, I'm actually going to go back and check, and we'll look at we got a wind right now, not necessarily super strong, about 5 miles an hour, but our temperature is at 30.2 degrees. Relative humidity is at 76. So that relative humidity now bumping up, as you were just mentioning, Chris, and will continue to increase. We got some accumulation, maybe?
A little bit of light accumulation, looks like on the mulch, maybe.
There we go.
Those cooler surfaces on the ground, getting a little dusting. Oh, those are rocks.
But I would imagine that is starting to unfold here in the next hour or so.
When I leave work, I'm going to the eye doctor.
There you
It looks like it.
It does. It definitely does. But I'm not sure. Do y'all want us to continue this stream, or do you want to take maybe a break for a second or two, and then we'll kind of come back within the next 30, 45 minutes, and we'll be able to kind of gather more viewer pictures, video, and I would say within the next hour, once we kind of come back on live, we will have better snow coverage across the area, kind of more stuff to talk about. Okay, let's toss it over to Ethan.
Then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, and then we can wrap it up. So we're going to take a look at Ethan Hunter, and also we have Kayla Lopez also live, I believe, in downtown Augusta. So we'll kind of check in with them and see what they're saying, and then we'll be back in just a little bit. But let's take a look at what Ethan and Kayla are seeing.
All right, I think this is Ethan here.
Yeah, we're driving out of downtown Edgefield here. As you just saw, we were talking to a family from Central Florida there on their first ever time seeing snow. Very cute. Callie was her name. She was really enjoying throwing some snowballs at her family. Great, pastime. Glad to see that these some of these families around here seeing snow for the first time and getting to experience that. Very cool. We are now driving to Aiken. So, like you said, down to take a break, and then we will. When you get back with us, we'll be in downtown Aiken We've had some reports on Facebook and from the cameras as well that shows snowfall there. So we are going to check that out. We're going to be on the drive from Edgefield to Aiken. So if we see anything crazy going on, we'll be sure to stop and report that as well. But we will next be in Aiken. We're kind of our traveling team today, going all around the general metro area, trying to find, where this accumulation's happening the most, what people are up to. We did talk to one Edgefield County sheriff's deputy who told us that they're all out, they're staged. They kind of have everybody working, or almost everybody working today, to make sure that people are staying safe, especially on the roads as we start to freeze here and maybe see some accumulation. So he said his paperwork's all ready. He's hoping that he doesn't have to talk to too many people and deal with anything too much, but they're definitely out and ready, and I'm sure that could be said for all of the law enforcement in our area, just making sure that people are staying safe, especially on the roads right now. So we will get back to you in just a little bit later from Aiken. So if you're in Aiken watching the stream right now, want to come meet us downtown, we'll be there somewhere. Not quite sure where yet, but bring some smiles, bring your family, and we'll be hanging out in the snow down there.
All right, thanks for that, Ethan. Now, do we have, there we go. There is Kayla. Looks like she's on Broad Street right now. So, Kayla, how do things look down there?
Yeah, Nick, I'm actually in front of Amy's right now, which is, I think, the way you say it, a coffee shop, sort of bar type place. You did a story on it, but right before I was getting ready to leave the house and figure out my plan, they posted on Instagram that they were open, so I said, we have to go there and set up camp. So they've been nice enough to have us here. Double click it. Yeah, so they've been nice enough to have us here, and they said that they are checking the weather conditions. So a lot of places downtown are pretty much open, but they all say that they're checking the weather conditions and that they're going to make a decision based off of that on whether or not they're going to stay open or closed. But it actually took us like 5 or 10 minutes to find parking. I thought we were going to get lucky and just get somewhere right up front, but there are a lot of cars out. Like, we can take a little bit of a walk and I'll kind of walk and talk, and you can see, but like, normally I thought I was going to be able to park right here in front of the coffee shop, but I can't because there's just so many cars downtown. And Gabe, if you want to pan that way, you can see there's people walking downtown, lots of cars, but I mean, we're starting to get some sort of snow falling. Not really anything accumulated on the ground just yet, but I'm trying to stay warm. I've got my hot latte here, and there are people out. I've seen about 4 or 5 families walking around, still doing their normal thing. So I'm gonna keep walking, seeing what businesses are open. But for now, if you want a hot coffee, it looks like you can come to Amy's, sit down, have some lunch, and things look pretty normal down here. I thought it was gonna be a ghost town, but I mean, it looks pretty good. I can't wait for it to start accumulating so I can make a snowman or something.
Yeah, tell Gabe he's doing a great job there with the camera work. Absolutely textbook stuff. He can fill in for us anytime here, anytime. So, Kayla Lopez downtown for us this morning. It sounds like a normal day, although don't advise people to be out right now. We're trying to stay off the roads. But if you do have to be out, I guess the earlier the better, so that way before all the big snow comes in.
Well, feel free to go outside your homes and things of that nature. I got a text from my mom. They actually have some snow up there in Martinez, Georgia. So seems like it's snowing just about everywhere.
Yeah, everybody seems to be getting flurries right now.
Flurries, like, but we call it snow.
Yeah. Nobody's got the real heavy stuff yet, although it sounds like it's coming. We've been obviously keeping you updated with the First Alert Weather Team all throughout the morning and going to continue on as we now cross into the afternoon. But the best way that you can get these pictures to us is by submitting them with that code right there on your screen. Now, a lot of you probably watching this on your phone right now, so can't scan the code. Just go to WRDW.com, top left corner right there, submit pictures and videos. We'd love to see them.
Yes, we'd definitely love to see all the snow pictures from today. And if you can't, scan the code or anything like that, just submit it on our Facebooks. Tag us in your videos and everything like that, because we want to see the videos. We want to see the pictures. We want to see the snow day all across CSRA.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a little break right now. But again, submit those photos to us and those videos. And our crew is going to get set up in their next locations, and we'll jump back on here in just a little bit.
All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day and stay warm.